Who are you and where are you from?
My name's Devin Noyes, and I'm from Royalton,
So
Vermont.
the last time we saw you, none of this up here was on here. So tell us what happened and who all helped, how you fixed it, and all that stuff.
So this is my first drag and drive. I'm brand new to drag racing in general. This motor we just got back in, this engine. After the second day, I think that was when it was, right? Yep. So after the second day, we heard a tick that was not the normal ticking that we can hear out the headers. So once we got to S&W, like, we might as well take a look and make sure we don't have a rocker arm coming loose. So we pulled the whole top end, we'll pull the valve cover off, and we rotated the engine over so it was on the top, and it was still, you could move the rocker arm. It's like, crap. And somebody was just talking about how they had one of the Corvettes broke a lifter tray, spun a lifter, wiped a cam lobe, and I was like, oh my god, if I have to pull the cam out of this, it's going to be so much work. It was already like 6:30. People were rolling out. These guys, I got his name. I want to shout out his name because he was fantastic.
I think it's David Fontaine in the white Monte Carlo, yep, and John Mankia.
Yep, in the 70s Camaro. Yeah, so shout out to those two. They were fantastic. He comes over and he's like, I got a lifter, I got a head gasket, if you guys want to pull it apart. And I said, absolutely. So we started pulling it apart, and I had found, or one of those guys found a cam on Facebook that was a half hour away. It was almost the same. I have a sloppy stage 2 in this. That was a BTR turbo stage 2. It was almost the same cam. So I'd already messaged the guy, and I was like, if I need a cam, will you sell just the cam? And he's like, absolutely. He was close by. So we pulled the head off of it, and you should have seen everybody was around us chewing our fingernails. And we pulled the lifter tray out. We pulled the lifter out, and you could see that the lifter was collapsed. And we were all like, thank God. So once it was a collapsed lifter, then we slapped everything back together, and we've been okay. You won't be able to see it, but the other problem, this car's been smoking all week. And we've been, we knew it was only on deceleration, so we didn't think it was something serious. It wasn't down on power. But when we just pulled the air cleaner off today, oh yeah, the turbo was pretty smoked. But we're going to run it today. It's the last day. We made it back. Yep. It was, like I said, our first drag and drive. We were just psyched to make. We got to the hotel last night, and we were like, we made it. This is amazing. It's been so hot. We've been driving with the heat on and the doors open in traffic to keep the car cool. It's been a long week. So
heater cores have saved a ton of cars.
We even worked. We were a day late getting down here because we put air conditioning in the car that we couldn't even use because when we turned it on, it overheated the car so much. So we got some other little stuff to work out. But it's been fantastic, and it was amazing to have the help of these guys. It was like you built a family. When we first showed up, nobody. I was hoping that a friend of mine was supposed to come with his car. He never got it together. So I was like, man, and we just met some fantastic people. So that was half of the adventure, is meeting new people, making new friends, making connections, and it's been a blast. So
that's awesome. Well, tell us about the car a little bit. Engine, trans, rear setup.
Yeah, so it's a 1970 Plymouth Duster. I got it in high school for $1,000, and the motor was in the trunk, and you could see through the car. So my dad and he used to do body work as like on the side thing when he was younger. So we did full rear quarters, rockers. We fixed the doors. We had to fix the trunk. We took the other hood off, ripped the vinyl top off, restored the whole car, put the 340 back in it, and I had a T5 behind it for years. The 340 got tired, so I was like, you know what? I've been watching the Riley Motorsports guys. They built a K-member for this that would take an LS or Mopar. So at that point, I had to make the decision, LS or not. Right around that same time, I had started watching Sloppy Mechanics, and I was like, oh, man, turbo stuff.
Matt Happel, you are dangerous.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And so I started to kind of put together the recipe for the Don't BS Me build that everybody else uses. It works. So I live in Vermont. You can buy rotted trucks up there for $200. I got 6 of them sitting in my parents' old log landing as parts trucks. So just took a 6.0 out. And I put that in here with the turbo, and I put a T56 behind it. And I blew the ringlands right off the pistons. And I did that 3 times before somebody's like, hey, Matt Happel had the same issue with the 585 coils. The dwell times don't play well with the Holly. Sure as shit, that's exactly what the problem was. Changed the coils, fixed all my problems. So then I spent the money, and I got Corvette heads now. It's a 6.1, 6.0 board 30 over, forged rods, pistons, Trailblazer SS intake, 1050 injectors. So it put down 780 to the rear tires, made way more power than I was hoping to make 600. When it's on 93 pump, it isn't even on E. We don't have E in Vermont. So when I put down 780, I went to the drag strip once because I'd never been drag racing before, and I blew the 8 3/4 out of it the first time I took off. So I pulled the 8 3/4 out and sold that, and I took a Dana 60 from a 70s Jeep J20, cut it down and welded the ends on so I could use all my Mopar. I had rear discs and everything already. So then I sold the T56 while it was still worth something, put a T56 Magnum I got from Joel Granis, and then I upgraded the clutch to the RX T1200. So the McLeod dual disc. So that's the setup. It's been working pretty good. The latest addition is the Hydro Boost. I could not stop this car. Could not for the last 10 years. With the 340, it wasn't that big of a deal, but once it started making way more power, it was terrifying.
3 times the power.
Oh, it was terrifying. I put manual brakes in it second, tried the manual brakes. They didn't work. Then I put the Hydro Boost from Hydrotech, and it stops on a dime now. So it's fantastic.
Well, cool. Well, how many miles do you think street miles you have on this thing?
6. I know it was just total.
Yeah.
So total, I think I've got 1,500 miles on the car since I cut it all together. Like that's with blow-ups, with everything. Total 1,500 plus the 600 we just put. So now we're over 2,000, 2,100 miles or so.
That's great. So your first event, what do you think? Did you have fun? Obviously, I think you did.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. We had a blast. I would definitely like to do it again. I'd like to change some stuff, but the AC would certainly be nice. But I was very nervous at the beginning. There's so much stuff. A lot of these guys I think have done some drag racing in the past. So I started with a manual trans because I built this as a street car. That I was like, I would like to do some drag racing. So I had a lot to learn in all the aspects. So getting in there was so nerve-wracking. You get in the staging, you get all these other cars that looks like they know what they're doing. They may not, but you don't know. You get up to the line, and it's like there's so much happening at first. The first 2 times I took off, my line locks and my 2-stepper on the button on my shifter. I didn't let go. Oh, no. So I took off, and the thing's like, da, 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 da. It was the most embarrassing thing, and I'm like, I look like an idiot out there. So after doing that a couple times and getting that out of my system, I'm running through my head, let off the button, let off the button, let off the button. So I got that kind of figured out, and we've been slowly, the first run here, I ran a 10.9, which was, I was like, holy crap. And then that was test and tune. And then that was my first real successful pass in the car ever. And then I couldn't repeat it. I don't know what I did. So I handed in 2 11s, 2 1125s, trying to figure out how to launch, because on the street, I just dumped the clutch. That's what everybody did. Right. So now after watching some people and just trying different things, I've been slowly working down that. My best time so far has been a 10.2 now. So yeah, I've been learning, and definitely just slipping the clutch a little bit has been helping a lot. So if I can run the guy in the 66 Mustang over there, he is 0.063 seconds ahead of me for 3rd place. So if I can run, I went over and shook my hand with him. I'm like, listen, we're competing for 3rd today. So it would be, I had no thoughts of coming here to win anything. But if we could take 3rd place, it would be super cool in the stick shift class. And it was super, when he was announcing at the beginning and he told us, hey, this is the biggest class of the whole event, 17 people in the stick shift class. I was like, great, so I can come in 17th place.
I can be the last of the last, but you're not. You're not even close.
No, I know. So really, overall, it's gone really well. The 2 days ago was so hot too. I mean, it was hot for everybody, but like inside this car, when Biddy, my co-driver, would talk to me, I'd turn over to look at him, and my vision would like take a second to catch back up, and I'm like, we need to stop and get some water. We need to do something different because I'm not gonna make it. So it was awesome memories. It's going to be fantastic stories to tell.
That's great. Well, hey, thank you very much for the time. Yeah. Thank you for getting the car fixed and bringing it out and making it work, dude.
Yeah, fixing stuff. That's part of the game. Fixing stuff on the side of the road. I mean, that's the adventure that we love and live for. So that makes it fun.
All right, man. So let me ask you this. When's your next one? Are you already looking at next events?
Yeah, so I doubt it will be Midwest because I'm from Vermont. So it was just super lucky that the Midwest Drag Week was an East Coast takeover this year. So that was super cool. It's tough that it was 2 slips a day. That made it way harder for my first event, but I would next year, hopefully I can do Drag Week. I would love to. I know it's hard to get into it because it sells out so fast, but I would like to do that every year if we can, but it's a fine line between turning something that's an actual street car into a drag car, and I don't want it to be not streetable anymore. So I won't make too many changes, maybe make the AC work more efficiently and stuff, but other than that, hopefully next year's Drag Week.
That's cool, man. Well, good luck to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.